Okay.
Yeah, so I'm Tyra. I sing and play bass in the band.
And my name is Norea, and I play drums and electronics.
And I'm Karin. I play guitar and sing.
Okay, and how did the three of us met?
We met back in Sweden. We're all from the same hometown in Sweden. And me and Tyra started playing in a band together when we were 13. We met through school, and then we played in different bands for like quite a lot of years. And then we started Junodef a few years back. Quite a lot, a few years back.
Yeah, like 7 years ago.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then Norea joined. And then we moved to London. Like after she joined, we spent another half year in Sweden, I think. And then we moved to London together.
Okay, nice. So
Yeah.
Is it a special meaning in Swedish? Does it mean something or
No, it doesn't mean anything.
You don't want to tell the story?
The story is really boring. That's the thing. Like I'm constantly struggling to come up with a really interesting story for the name, but it's just from like one of these confirmation codes.
Okay.
Like basically, me and my brother, we bought some like concert tickets, and then you get a code, and it was like Junodef, and I was like, oh, that sounds sick. Let's change that.
It's related to music. It's not that boring. I think I'm gonna use it maybe, and it doesn't have
Right.
Potentially.
Right. There is nothing to do with the movie Juno.
No.
Love Elliot Page though.
Yeah.
Me too. Okay, and so you said you moved to London from Sweden. How things going in London? Is it like, do you have more live opportunities? Is it like different recording process?
Yeah, it's a lot more live opportunities here. Like Sweden's quite small. There's obviously a lot of music in Sweden, but it's not that many people, and it's not that many venues and stages you can play at. So it's a lot more in London. Obviously, you can play a new gig every month in a different venue, and it's still kind of fine. In Sweden, it's more limited.
Okay, so you prefer London?
Well, yes
and
no.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're so busy here, like just trying to, I don't know, pay our rent. So in Sweden, I think we had more time to just spend on making music. Whereas here, it's like we constantly like push ourselves to make that time. Whereas in Sweden, it would happen a bit more naturally. And, in Sweden, we could afford to have a studio just for us, Whereas here, you need to share or like rent by the hour. Like it's just money is an issue here, and it wasn't really the same kind of issue back in Sweden.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Pros and cons,
How do you think the music audience here in Berlin different from London or Sweden?
Played one show in Berlin, and we played in someone's living room, and it was amazing.
It was really fun.
Yeah, that was super fun.
Yeah,
I mean, I love Berlin.
Yeah, no, same. I hear good things as well. I feel like I think everyone is going to move to Berlin now after Brexit from London.
But yeah, that's cool. We got the show in Berlin through our friends who are they're called Hope,
and they're amazing.
And they're
Everyone
based in Berlin.
Check them out.
I think I would describe them the same as I would describe us. It's like, but it's dark and moody with like a lot of like synthy and electronic stuff, but then also like mixed with like post-rock guitars and really fucking cool percussion and drums and really cool vocals.
Okay, I'll check this out. And speaking about like your music, you said that's dark, moody. I listened to the last song you came up with, the Diane's Robot, which I thought was very cool lyrics and very deep subject. Like how did you come up with this like robotic melody kind of Kavinsky thing? How did you make it?
What with the robot voice and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, because the song is kind of like about being a child, and it mentions like being young and all that, it was nice to have some kind of like some element of something childish, which is like the robot voice, and it's a bit weird and bizarre. Yeah.
Just that contrast, isn't it, to really point out that like there are two separate voices going on, to like a conversation happening.
And I just think it's fun to experiment with like pitching vocals and making it a bit like bizarre and and weird, and not just like, oh, it's a conversation between two people, so we'll just have two people singing. It's more like, is this person human? What is this? It's very like, you know.
Yeah, because
just
the
adds another layer, doesn't
sound like kind of from the past, from like the 90s or something like that, and with all the image of the robot head shaping box. I thought it was really cool. Yeah. How would you describe the evolution of the music of the band? Would you say it's more, do you have more techniques, or is it more, are you more writing about your feelings and emotional stuff?
I think when we started, like we released an EP on a Swedish label, or like a mini album, or I don't know. And that was very kind of like post-rocky. Like me and Tyra had been playing in a band where, I don't know, just the way we were writing songs was quite like experimental. Kind of a strong pop sentiment to it still, like with strong melodies and like kind of hooks and, but with the difference that it wouldn't have any like repeating parts of the song. So it wouldn't be like verse, chorus. It would be part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, end of song. So we were still writing quite like that, I think, when we started Junodef. And then we've evolved to, I guess, write more like with like more common song structures.
Yeah.
And experiment more with the sound and production rather than just like different parts of the song. Because now we write like pop songs, more or less, don't we?
Yeah.
But they don't necessarily sound like polished pop songs.
No, but they're shorter and they're, like you say, more verse, chorus, more of a normal structure.
Yeah.
And they're not 9 minutes long.
They're not 9 minutes long.
Like some of them used to be.
they used to be. Yeah.
Can you tell me about your biggest stage fuck up?
Stage fuck up.
Stage fuck up.
Easy for me.
Is it?
With the slippers?
The slippers.
We have that on film as well.
We have it on video, yeah. Basically, we were touring with editors in Europe, and it was like our biggest shows to date, playing like really big stages. And for one of the shows, I had been walking around, like I love slippers, right? Like, the shoe where you just bloop.
Yeah, of course.
And I was walking around in like white socks and silver slippers.
Basically,
and then
like silver Birkenstocks.
Silver Birkenstocks, but like cheap ones from Lidl.
Okay.
Gotta save that cash. And then usually we play barefoot. So the idea for me was to obviously take off all of this and just wear like a suit jacket, like all dressed in black, like looking smart and, really good. And then I walk out on stage in front of like thousands of people in my white socks and silver Birkenstocks from Lidl. And I just forgot to take them off. So like in this video, you can see me like walking in mid stage. I'm just like panicking at like throwing my slippers off my feet. But then I had to play the whole show in white socks because I was like, well, there's no going back now. But I should have like thought about my choice of socks. That's my biggest stage fuck up, I think.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because that's like,
I remember once, this was early on, but when we played in Sweden, and we played the 9-minute song, and it's all based on the toms, like on the floor tom.
Yeah.
And I think like in the beginning of the song, the floor tom broke or something, or fell.
Oh yeah.
And the whole song on drums was based on the floor tom.
Yeah.
So I was like, now what? And it's very like drum heavy. So I like started to play what I was meant to play on the tom, like on the cymbals, and it's just sounded really
cymbals.
No, and like on the very like high tune, like rack tom, and it just sounded like jazzy when it was meant to be like super doomy and heavy. And that was like the whole 9-minute song, and I was like,
who is the artist you always dreamt about doing collaboration with?
They're all dead.
I would be too nervous to work with someone I actually like.
I mean, I've been like listening exclusively to 070 Shake recently. It'd be a good collaboration. It would be cool because it's quite like different from our music, but that would be cool. And then Chelsea Wolfe,
Yeah,
Chelsea Wolfe.
Yeah.
She's just amazing.
I do love Brandy Carlisle.
Okay.
You would like to collaborate with her,
Yeah. Thanks to you, and have a nice day. And
you too. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.